The Ryder Cup is golf at its purest form. When you look at the Ryder Cup, you see guys not only playing for themselves, but you see them playing for a team, for a family, and for a nation. And when you look at this, everything is amplified. And with that comes added pressure. And at the 2025 Ryder Cup, we saw guys crumble under that pressure, and we saw guys rise and become stone cold killers. Let's talk about it. First things first, my name is Bryson Shaw, and I played 6 years of big-time college football. I played 3 years at the Ohio State University and 3 years at the University of Southern California. And over the course of my career, I had 190 tackles and 25 starts, and I played on the biggest of stages. I'm talking about Rose Bowls, national championships, rivalry games with 110,000 people in the stands. I mean, you name it, I played in it. And with that being said, I will be the first one to tell you that when it comes to being a great athlete, it's not about your talent. It's not about how big you are, how strong you are, how fast you are. What it's about is up here, your mental strength and your mental resilience. And that's why over the past couple of years, I've developed a deep love for golf, because I truly believe that the game of golf is the most mentally demanding sport of all time. Now, over this past weekend, we saw one of the biggest, most pressure-packed golf tournaments of the year, the Ryder Cup. And when I was watching this thing unfold, I saw so many great examples and so many great learning moments when it comes to guys handling and not handling the mental pressures and the mental battle. So I decided to come on here, make a video, talk about what I saw, talk about how we can learn from guys' successes and guys' failures, and tie some of my own personal successes and failures with college football, and really talk about and learn how we can dominate the mental battle. The first overall theme and topic that we're going to look at when looking at this past weekend is handling a hostile environment. And to do this, we're going to focus on Rory McIlroy, because I tell you what, all weekend long, this guy was hearing it heavily from the crowd in New York. And I mean, they were just on this case. And there was times where I thought Rory handled it like the true champion that he is. And there was other times where I thought he just handled it like a whiny little bitch, and he let it impact him way too much. So first, looking at how he handled it like a champion, here's one example. He was getting ready to hit an iron shot on Saturday, and somebody's talking in his backswing. Well, he snaps. He turns around. He tells him to shut the fuck up, and then he goes back and he hits a shot right next to the cup. I mean, a couple feet away from the cup. It was a beautiful shot, and then he's hyped. He's talking his stuff, and he was just feeling himself. And there's people that had a problem with this, but to be honest, I really liked this because it showed me where his mind was at. It showed me that his mindset was intense. It was at an ultimate competitive level, and he was like, listen, you're not going to mess with me. You're going to shut the fuck up, and I'm going to hit this shot. You can tell that he was confident and really just kind of feeling himself. Now, there's other times where I thought he didn't handle it, like I said. An example of this would be when he's on the green. He's on the green, guys are heckling him. They're giving him a, kind of a shot clock type of thing. They're counting 1, 2, 3. They're timing him, and he's just sitting there, and he's literally like moping around, whining. And there's a couple times where he missed those putts when he would wait or kind of adjust. Man, you just got to block out that noise. Go up there, worry about your business, block it out, and hit the putt. And then today on Sunday, there was multiple times where he did the same thing. He'd be getting ready to swing the iron. I understand he's getting mad, getting frustrated with people saying whatever they're saying, but he would stop his swing. He would take a step back. He would think it. And there was one time where he hit it right into the bunker. 2 times, actually. He hit it into the bunker after stopping, and I just thought he really let the crowd impact him too many times. And I made a video about this, a short video about this, and there were so many European fans on my ass, saying that it was disrespectful, this, and this. But that's just the truth. I mean, you're a professional athlete, and I understand that golf is not the same as, NFL or basketball, but you got to be able to handle this stuff. And the Ryder Cup is different. That's what makes the Ryder Cup so fun, in my opinion, is that they kind of let the fans be a little bit rowdy. So he had to have known that coming in, and there were times where he handled it really well. Like I said, that shot where he told the dude to shut the fuck up and put the ball right next to the cup was phenomenal. I mean, he was intense, he was fire, he was that warrior. And then there was other times, like I just said, where he's like whining, putting the putter up on his, resting his cheek on it. I mean, it was just, that stuff was pathetic. So overall, I thought he handled it pretty good, and he got some W's for his team, so I really liked that. So that's Rory McIlroy.
Sorry for the language there, or frustration, see the ball over.
Just waiting for the noise. It's every hole, but I can look in their eyes, especially Rory and Shane, and they're actually quite, you know, it makes them so determined. You can see it. It's once it does simmer.
He just says, I'm not going to putt until they stop counting. It's like they've created their own shot clock in an attempt to rush the European team.
Now, just like Rory McIlroy, there's been times where I've gone into a hostile environment and handled it like a true champion, and there's been times where I've gone into a hostile environment and handled it like a whiny little bitch. And the first of which is when we were playing at Michigan on the road when I was at Ohio State. When we got on that campus, every one of their fans was giving us the bird. They were talking crazy shit. We get into the stadium, their fans are just on us, heckling us, saying some crazy stuff, but I used that as motivation. I mean, I fed off that. I was also sick that day, but as soon as I got into that arena, got in that kind of hostile environment, I was like, let's go. I'm going to shut them up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I was ready to lay it all on the line. And I went out there and I played really well. I had a bunch of good tackles. I had an interception. We lost the freaking game, which really drives me crazy. But just kind of looking from my own kind of mental mindset and how I handled a hostile environment, I was really proud for how I handled that hostile environment. Now, on the flip side, when I was at USC, we went on the road to Washington, and when we pulled up, it was the same way. Washington fans, you know, giving us the finger, heckling us, saying crazy things. And when I got into that stadium, their players were talking mad trash, fans were talking mad trash, and I was kind of out there feeling sorry for myself. And then I was listening to some of the stuff they were saying, and I was letting it really get to me, and it really just threw me off my game. And I was out there hesitating, missing tackles, missing plays, and really just bullshitting. So that's what I talk about when you got to make the decision that you're going to feed off that hostile environment. You're going to go for it. You're going to shut them up, and you're really just going to be that warrior. And there's other times that what you can't do, and what I did in the Washington game and what McIlroy did at times is kind of just feel sorry for yourself, you know, rest your face on the putter or go out there on a football field and just, in whatever sport it is, and just feel sorry for yourself because you're going to go out there and play terrible. So handling a hostile environment is the first theme. Now, the next theme we're going to focus on is handling adversity. How well do you respond when things aren't going your way? And the guy we're going to focus on from this Ryder Cup is none other than Bryson DeChambeau. Because I tell you what, he was in the head-to-head today with Matt Fitzpatrick, and after the first 7 holes, he found himself down 5 strokes. And nobody in Ryder Cup history has ever come back from being 5 strokes down. So this left DeChambeau with a decision to make. Is he going to pack it in? Is he going to lay down and take the L? Or is he going to keep fighting, keep with his routine, and keep swinging and try and come back? And the decision DeChambeau made was very obvious, because not a single time, and I mean not a single time, did you see him ever out there looking sorry for himself. You didn't see him down there with his head down. You didn't see him pouting. Even when he was losing, he was still getting the crowd fired up. He was still getting himself fired up, and he just stuck with his routine. He didn't do anything fancy. He just kept to his technique, kept to the basic, and he just kept swinging and swinging and swinging. And guess what? The back 9 rolls around. He catches fire. Freaking on the flip side, when we look at Fitzpatrick, talk about the mental battle. When DeChambeau went from 5 down to 4 down to 3 down, you saw Fitzpatrick really starting to crumble, and he was missing some easy shots, missing some easy putts. And what do you know? DeChambeau comes back and ties this thing up on the 18th hole and has the biggest comeback ever in the Ryder Cup history.
Points, long shots, 15. DeChambeau second.
Drawing it into that right hole location.
Bryson continues the chase on Fitzpatrick, and he's pumped, and he is going to hear it in one of the loudest parts of the course. In the hole on Fitzpatrick, who's in for bogey. Can DeChambeau turn this around late? He just makes it 1. Throws in a birdie 2 at the 14th. Bryson
And this is really what separates the great athletes from the good athletes, I promise. It's guys who can stay off that emotional roller coaster. It's guys when they make a bad play, make a bad swing, whatever it may be, whatever sport it may be, they don't get too low on themselves. And it's guys when they make a big time play, they don't get too high on themselves. And I got 2 examples of this from my playing career. When I was playing on the road against Arizona, I was with USC. The game starts off, I miss a tackle and I give up an incompletion. And my response was, I threw it right away. I didn't focus on it. I was just thinking to myself, I'm just going to keep playing hard. I'm going to keep doing my job. And guess what? That game ended. I won the game ball. It was one of the best games I ever played in my life. And I won Pac-12 Player of the Week for the entire conference. Then, on the flip side, when I was with USC playing at Colorado, I actually got off to a pretty good start in that game. But guess what? I started slipping up, I started making mistakes, and then I started getting in my head, start overthinking, and really feeling sorry for myself, quite frankly. And the performance just went downhill and got worse and worse and worse. And that's how it works. Guys who can kind of shake off a bad play and move on and not really put too much time and thought into it, they bounce back, they handle adversity. Those are the champions. Those are the great athletes. And the third theme we're going to focus on is handling social media, because this can be the hardest thing to do as an athlete today. And the guy we're going to focus on from the Ryder Cup this weekend is none other than world number 1, Scotty Scheffler. Because I tell you what, after Friday and Saturday, he was getting all sorts of hate from the American fans on Twitter. Barstool Sports was on him, making fun of him, telling him that when it's time for him to perform for the United States, he's a ghost, basically. I mean, everybody was just on his case. But what does he do? He blocks out that social media noise. He goes head-to-head with world number 2, Rory McIlroy, and he gets a big-time W. And after the fact, when he was getting interviewed, he talked about the pressure, and he was very emotional. I mean, you could tell that getting that W today, getting his first ever Ryder Cup win, meant the world to him. And if he would have listened to that social media and came out here with that in the back of his head, he probably would have crumbled and lost to Rory McIlroy.
Scheffler matches it. And this has turned into a classic 1 versus 2.
And kind of looking at my playing experience, somebody asked me the question. I was helping this kid out, and his mom asked me this question, and it was really a great question. She said, if you could tell my son anything, that he wouldn't expect to get ready for college football, what would you tell him? And I sat there, and I thought about it, and I said this: you got to block out the social media noise, the good and the bad. It's kind of like shaking off a bad play. It's the same thing with social media. And this kind of hit me. I wasn't prepared for this. When I got to Ohio State, we played Minnesota, and I play well, and kind of, I'm getting some love on Twitter. I'm starting to feel myself. My ego's getting a little high. And then the next week we play Oregon. I don't play so well. We lose the game, and I'm telling you, there was countless tweets about me. All of Ohio was just shitting on me, and it really put me in a dark spot. I didn't handle it well, and for the rest of that year, I was kind of just worried about what people. I'd be checking my phone after games, and if people were saying good things about me, I was just fine. I was relieved, and if they were saying bad things about me, my confidence was just down, and it just really hurt my performance. So that's my lesson for you guys watching this, and we saw this with Colin Morikawa. Like I said, he was getting hate all first 2 days of the Ryder Cup, big time on social media, and he comes out, blocks out that noise, plays really well on Sunday, and that's what you got to do. There would be games where I would block out that noise, not worry about what anyone says, and that's when I felt free. That's when I was playing my best. When I wasn't worried about what anyone else was saying, good or bad, I was playing free, I was having fun, and I was just in my zone, and there would be other times where I would just be so in tune with what everybody was saying on social media, and that would be all I was thinking about on the field. What if I make a mistake, I'm going to be getting hate on Twitter, and you just can't do that, and you just got to find a way. It's the hardest thing about being an athlete in the modern world. You have to find a way to block that noise out. Now, the last guy I want to focus on, I try to find a theme for this last little segment, but I couldn't really think of one. I guess you can say unexpected hero, but the guy we're going to focus on for this part is the rookie on this Ryder Cup team for the U.S., and that's 28-year-old Cameron Young, because he led this American team in total points from the weekend in the Ryder Cup. And to me, he's from New York, Bethpage Black was a course he grew up playing, a course he grew up loving, and you could tell, watching him out there, he felt very confident and very comfortable. And this kind of just reminded me, every athlete kind of has a team they play against that they really love playing against. They have a stadium they love playing in, or an area they love playing in. And for me, it was Rutgers. For some reason, whenever we would play Rutgers, I always felt very comfortable, and I would always go out there and dominate. And so when Rutgers was on the schedule and we were getting ready to play them, I knew I was going to go out there and ball out. And it's just kind of funny because looking at the mental side of things, given that I felt so comfortable and really enjoyed playing against Rutgers, that when the game would come around, I was 100% confident. And because I was 100% confident, I was 100% free out there, and I would just go out there and dominate. So like I said, I can't really think of a theme for that, but it's just kind of funny how being comfortable with a team you play, or an area you play in, or a stadium you play in can kind of impact your performance in a positive way. So I wanted to highlight that.
And Cameron Young has come full circle.
And actually, one last thing. I do want to give kind of a mental warrior MVP from the Ryder Cup. And that would be, without a doubt, Irish legend Shane Lowry. I mean, this guy was on fire all week long. He was playing with that intensity. He was playing with that passion. The fans were getting on him big time, calling him like Teletubby and stuff. And he was giving it right back to him. He didn't back down. He didn't cower down. And he was leading his teammates. He was helping his teammates. I mean, his partner, Rory even said that Shane really helped him get through that round emotionally, really led him and led the charge, which I loved hearing and loved seeing out of Shane Lowry. And on top of that, this Sunday, he was down one stroke on the 17th hole. He needed to find a way against Russell Henley to tie it up, to give his European team the half point, to put them over the edge. And he comes on that 18th hole. He hits a beautiful shot right next to the cup. He hits the birdie, hits a clutch putt, and gives his team that half cup so they can retain the championship. And Shane Lowry, he executed everything we just covered all weekend long. He showed that he can handle a hostile environment. He showed that he can shake back when things aren't going well. I mean, he was just the ultimate mental warrior. So he's my MVP.
Well, he's in the mood, isn't he? Lowry, after that wonderful eagle.
Super shot.
He did it.
Now that wraps up my recap of the 2025 Ryder Cup. I know there's a lot of other examples that took place of guys, exemplifying that mental discipline that I've been talking about. So if you picked up on something and you want to highlight it, please go down in the comment section below and write it out, start a conversation. I would love to engage with you guys. And while you're at it, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the most recent sporting events and hear some of my favorite college football stories.